In a live update game like Genshin Impact, it's to be expected that the meta will change with time, and in turn, the most valuable characters will also change. I'm not by any means a meta player, so I asked my community who they thought the most valuable character to own is right now in terms of meta. Who'd they pick? Most people said Columbina, who came out recently, and that makes sense, because consistently, the meta reflects recent releases. Now, what if you asked this question back when the game was still new? I unfortunately don't own a time machine, so the best I can do is reference the Spiral Abyss usage rates and popularity polls. So, who was among the MVPs back then? Klee. Klee had one of the higher Spiral Abyss usage rates, and almost every massive damage showcase involved her. However, in recent years, the only major impact Klee has had on Genshin Impact involved the US government, and Alice cannot stand for that. So what did she do? She gave a boost to Mondstadt characters new and old, for the most part, with the introduction of Hexerei. Now, with a new Team Challenge account, I'm sure you're probably thinking, Ren, please tell me you aren't planning to make this another extreme challenge like Archons Only. And don't worry, I'm definitely not. While Archons Only I could justify an extreme challenge since it's, a bunch of gods, this is going to be a much simpler challenge. The goal? 36 starring the Abyss. That's it. Though, to be fair, I've never actually 36 starred the Abyss on my main account, so this is still going to be an uphill battle. That's a bit down the road though. Right now, my goal is to hit AR 35, level everyone to 70, and properly unlock the Hexerei buffs. To do that, it's time to save Mondstadt from Dvalin. Oh, and I also need to farm some wishes, which is going to be a much tougher challenge. Honestly, when I made a community poll about if I should use my Klee account or my Albedo account, it completely slipped my mind how vital Pyro is during early game. Not to mention, I would pretty much only be able to swirl Electro for any sort of elemental reactions, so Klee was definitely the right call. Will this account complete the challenge before Albedo runs again? I'd say maybe, but unfortunately I have the object permanence of an infant child when it comes to my challenge accounts, so that might be more like a 50-50. Plus, maybe Genshin will finally introduce Chronicled Wish as a permanent rotating third banner, since they've, cursed pretty much anyone released prior to Natlan to the Shenhe treatment. We can only hope. I have literally skipped this section with short characters. What is happening? Did they patch the skip? That took way too long. Now, if you haven't played Genshin in a while, you might be wondering, well, Ren, what's Hexerei? That is actually a valid question, to be honest. Basically, Hexerei is Genshin's way to buff older kits, namely Mondstadt characters, to be more useful in newer content. Similar to the Moonsign team benefit found in Notcry, when 2 or more party members are Hexerei, they gain a buff that can be activated by completing their Witch's Homework quest. We'll get into those quests a bit more later. As of Luna 6, which was the patch this video was recorded during, there are 9 Hexerei characters: Albedo, Klee, Durin, Venti, Varka, Mona, Fischl, Sucrose, and Razor. As a bonus, when you complete the initial Hexerei quest from Alice, you're able to claim a free Fischl, Sucrose, or Razor. So at least for the length of this video, we'll have those 4 as our primary team. However, I admittedly have never really used any of them in any capacity. So much so that I really don't know anything about their kits. So I will very much accept suggestions for builds and polite constructive criticism on how to use them all properly. I will say though, I feel like I did get a little better at using them, sort of, by the end of the video, so don't let my early gameplay make you think I'm that incompetent. One of the biggest quality of life upgrades that Genshin has made for newer players, and those of us who have an excessive amount of accounts, is how leveling up in early game is so much easier now. The Adventurer's Handbook missions give an insane amount of XP for early game, and now you can easily beat the entirety of Mondstadt in under 4 hours. Plus, having a proper team with multiple elements, I can also easily complete all the early story quests, which you'll see briefly later in the video as well. I don't really think it'll be much of a challenge to get to AR 35, but I do think it'll be somewhat more challenging to get the required number of level up books. Even worse, getting all of the level up materials. I want to minimize how much I'm wishing right now as much as possible, but I also hate farming hilly trail drops, so we'll see how it goes. Speaking of wishing, I'd love to lie and say this challenge will be free to play, but they just announced the banners for the next patch, and yeah, there's no shot. I'm going to have to make some very questionable financial choices. On that note, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to tell the algorithm to show my video to more people, or something like that. Next patch, we'll have 4 Hexerei characters up for grabs, and Moika, but she's not the target of this account. In Phase 1, we'll have Nicole and Durin, both Hexerei, along with Prune, who is a 4-star, and also Hexerei. In Phase 2, we'll have Lo Lowen, who's Hexerei, and also part of the reason I decided to start this challenge at all. What, did you want me to lie and say he wasn't? Now, I don't know how much pity this account actually has on Limited Banner, but I'd assume I'm close to soft pity because most of my reroll accounts from Arlecchino are at pity by this point. At least I sure hope so. All in all, I think after I level everyone to 70 and unlock their Hexerei buff, I'll probably just do what I did on my main account and 100% Nod Cry. Beyond that, well, we'll just hope the dent to my wallet isn't too significant, since I have to worry about my main account as well. And no, we're not going to focus on Weapons Banner, at least not for the foreseeable future. I think my primary target will be Nicole first, because the shield will definitely be a huge boost in the future. Unless there are builds I don't know about, none of the Hexerei members at the moment have any healing capabilities. So for Spiral Abyss, especially on the lower floors, I'll definitely need a shield. If I can get a decent amount of wishes, I'll go for Durin as well, and then I'll get Lowen in phase 2. Realistically, if Albedo comes back eventually, I can basically run my main account team, at least the team I'm planning to use, of Lowen, Albedo, Durin, and Nicole. But I feel like putting 3 out of 4 of the new Hexerei 5-stars on one team would be kind of insane and make it much harder to build the other teams. Plus, from what I've seen of early access Nicole, she can buff pretty much anyone, so it would probably be smarter to put her on a team that would need extra help. Honestly though, none of that matters if I don't get her, so I guess we'll start there. Nice. Alright, with Act 2 taken care of, we have our first ascension ahead of us, but we have to get to AR-15 first. I can finally unlock Cecilia's Garden. This account is so peak. It's so insane to me that new players can just insta-unlock condensed resin. The North remembers 160 resin caps. I don't remember 120 resin caps though, because I wasn't playing at the time. Also, I'm sure someone might ask why I don't have Mona since new accounts have the 5-star selector, but emphasis on new accounts for that. This account was made back when I was rerolling for Arlecchino in 2024, so we'll just have to get her during the anniversary because I'm definitely not going to lose 50-50 for any of my pulls. Yep. More or less, I decided the most efficient way to reach AR-35, which is necessary for level 70, was to just go through the motions of the Archon quests. Combine that with more boss runs than I usually have to do on solo accounts to account for 3 extra characters, and having an actual need to do the ley lines for the books, I don't even think I'll need to finish Inazuma. Okay, with the daily commissions done and some new book missions, we finally hit AR-15, so time for our first ascension, and unfortunately, the only easy one. Also, you can't do the Alice quest until you complete Act 3 of Mondstadt, so I'll get Razor at that point, in case anyone was wondering. I tried to level everyone as evenly as I could because I knew I didn't have enough books to get all 3 to level 40, so this is what we get. Kind of a scam that I can't go into my own room. Anyways, after a whole lot of XP farming, I started Kaya's story quest, which got me to AR-18. I also started Amber's story quest because, as we all know, starting both is required for completing Act 3. Okay, starting Act 3, you all know how this goes. I will, however, show the Dvalin fight, and I am absolutely using Trial Venti because he's a Hexerei character. Ooh, and he has his new weapon. I can't believe he got a 3rd signature. What an icon. If you've been a viewer of my channel for any length of time, you probably know the early Archon quest almost as well as I do, so I'm not going to put a heavy focus on showing the quests in this challenge. Besides, I genuinely have no idea when I'll actually finish the Archon quest line with this account. Probably faster than Archons only though. I'll likely just do the Archon quest until I hit AR-35 and then go from there. Realistically, while time consuming, the Archon quest does have the boosted perk of providing an intertwined fate and the level up books for every act completed, so I guess I'll have to see how desperate I am. Actually, I have no idea why I said I'd try to be free to play for this account. I'm 100% buying Klee official skins at some point. I don't know when, maybe if I win the 50/50s next patch or something, who knows. But Klee is a necessity especially. Side note, Spotify recently released your all-time top songs, and while I will not be sharing that with the class, I will be sharing that putting that playlist on shuffle and going in blind has been interesting. More importantly, I was reminded that I never made a video about my Korea trip. Oops. I was reminded because Your Idol came on shuffle, and for the record, I ended up putting it on immediate repeat. I'll definitely have to throw my Korea trip video higher on my to-do list because it was during like peak K-pop Demon Hunter era, and it was insane seeing everything. I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie when I finish this video, I think. Well, you don't have to ask Klee twice when it comes to blowing things up. This is so cute. Well, anyways, with Act 3 complete, it's time to go see Alice in the library and get our free Razor. Could I have maybe gotten a Sucrose official con? Sure, but they're 4 stars, and realistically, they will forever run alongside Hexerei characters, so I'll probably see them again. The funny thing about the witch's homework missions is it can be as little as going to talk with Albedo and Dragonspine about his painting, or as complex as going on a literal mini quest with Fischl, but we'll get more into Fischls later. Or potentially in the next video, who knows. For now, we have a team of 4, so now we have to get to AR-23 to start Liyue. After hitting AR-20 by unlocking the Statue of the 7 in Liyue, and earning some primos with the Mika cartography event, which personally I loved, I decided it was time to go unlock the Spiral Abyss. As I mentioned, the goal goal of this challenge will be to 36-star the Abyss, but it also goes without saying that I have to 3-star the previous floors as well. Now, I don't need to do it this second, but I figure that for now, I can get some Primo Gems for it, and plus there's a book mission, so it won't hurt. In terms of Primo Gems, I don't really have a specific savings goal for this account, unlike my main account where I'm trying to save 1,000 wishes so I can get Nicole C0R1 and then Lowen C6R5. My main goal for this account is, like I mentioned, whatever it takes to get Nicole, Durin, and Lowen. Bruin will be a nice bonus as well, but I know better than to focus my wishing on a 4-star. Learned that the hard way with Dahlia. Now, I kind of expect this video to potentially reach new viewers, which, if you're one, welcome. If you haven't noticed already, I am a Nicole level yapper. Honestly, these videos would be incredibly short if I didn't yap, but where's the fun in that? Especially with these videos where I'm not necessarily narrating every single thing I do while progressing the challenge. It's a lot of just running around, so there's gotta be an equal amount of yapping. Similarly, I had my regular segment of What's Ren Watching in my last video, but it was mostly about one show in particular, and I also can't expect everyone to watch a 1-hour video just to find out what show I'm watching, so I'll include it here too. Beyond the show that I mentioned I'm watching, an American crime drama called FBI, I've also been watching a lot of the currently airing animes this season. My personal favorites have been, of course, my good old reliable Reincarnated as a Slime, Witch Hat Atelier, Plasma of the Elite, Always a Catch, and an observation log of my fiance. I usually don't keep up with 5 animes in one season, but these all release new episodes within the same couple of days, so it makes it much easier. Also, I get comments from time to time suggesting I watch the Apothecary Diaries. Trust me, it's one of my top series. I've rewatched it probably 3 or 4 times. Whenever I'm in a lull of not knowing what to watch or not feeling in the mood to start anything new, I almost always end up just rewatching Apothecary Diaries or Reincarnated as a Slime. Very much my main comfort series. Alright, so I figure just floor 1 is good enough for now, primarily because I needed it for the book achievement, and the next day I ended up continuing Amber's story quest. And finally, I can do the entire domain without help. I'm actually looking forward to the archery demonstration now. With Amber's quest done, it's time to go do Razor's quest.
Flashback.
Oh my god! Oh my god, look at them! They're so cute! They follow Razor around. Oh my god. That's amazing.
End of flashback.
Oh my god, wait, I just remembered I can use Razor to see the wolves. Don't look at his health. Yep, this is the greatest thing that Genshin has ever added. Oh, they replaced my Razor with Trial Razor. Well, at least I can see what his best weapon would be. Good. The Dragonspine weapon. Well, I guess it's a good thing Lowen is gonna be Hexerei because I'll need Cryo for the Dragonspine quest. With Razor's quest done, I did manage to get enough books to level everyone to 40, so now it's time to go farm all the bosses. Yay. Honestly, I got a lot of requests to do challenges with characters from One Nation, and with the introduction of Hexerei, this felt absolutely perfect. I think if it does well, and if I ever finish it, I could probably do a Liyue faction, at least maybe in the future, and go from there. Something like Adepti only? Are there enough for that challenge? I have an account with Shenhe and Zhao. At least I think I still have the account, and I could probably argue that Disciples of the Adepti would be included, but that's a little bit down the road, so we can figure that out. Though, literally as I was writing this section of script, they teased a new buff group. Well, that's probably what it is. Maybe it'll also be Hexerei, and this will both no longer be a Mondstadt video, and it'll be the easiest challenge to grace YouTube. Who knows? Oh wow, I really love farming bosses at the lowest world level. That's truly my favorite thing. I don't entirely want to waste my condensed resin this early, since I definitely will need to do a lot of artifact farming, so it's probably best to just go until I'm out of resin and then come back tomorrow.
The next day.
Before we go get the last Beth drop, we gotta do our daily commissions, and that brings us to AR23. Alright, we've got the last drop, so now let's start the Liyue Archon quest. Now, can I run this domain normally? Yeah, I have Klee. Am I going to do that? No. Wait, does the map tell you what rock he's in now? Are we serious? Okay, now I have to test this on future accounts. That's crazy if they do. New players have it so good. Alright, with Act 1 complete, I did D-Luke story quest, and immediately decided that I'm good enough to defeat 2 Geometa Churls in 60 seconds. Never doubt Klee and overload reactions. With that and the book mission, we only needed to do a little bit more farming and collect this oculi. Now it's time for another ascension. While I don't have enough books to level them, I can get more books from clearing the Ascension domain, and if I can clear it with solo characters, I can definitely clear it with a team. Another common segment in my videos is discussing my neighbors and the general exhaustions that come from apartment living. For a long time, I wasn't really having issues beyond the temperature thing that I've mentioned in a couple of videos now. Unfortunately, that has recently changed. The other day, I was minding my business, sitting at my desk, recording for one of my challenge videos. All of a sudden, the walls are vibrating, the windows are vibrating, and it sounds like a plane just took off. Except I don't live near an airport, so I'm thinking, okay, okay, was there an earthquake or something? No, because the loud buzzing and vibrating stopped after a couple of minutes and then started again. This went on for 3 hours. It freaked out May and Hay, my fox familiars, and I couldn't even do the good old broomstick method upstairs because I have no idea which apartment it came from. It felt like the entire building was shaking. It's happened a few more times since then, and this only started like last week, and it's almost exclusively after 9 p.m. Luckily, I'm not remotely an early to bed, early to rise type of person, so I'm awake, but it's the concept, you know? Like, I don't want to hear what sounds like a small plane taking off from the roof of my apartment building when I'm trying to unwind, or worse, when I'm trying to record my voiceovers during quiet hours. I still don't know what apartment it's coming from. I'm pretty sure it's upstairs, but I also have no idea what it could possibly be. A buzzsaw? One of those vibrating plates you stand on? One of those ninja ice cream makers? I have no idea. What I do know is that I hate it. Every day, I find it genuinely remarkable that others are so blissfully unaware of their surroundings. I saw a TikTok the other day about how nobody seems to have spatial awareness anymore, and I definitely feel like that applies in apartments. But maybe I'm just hyper aware of sound because of, well, obvious reasons, and because the loudest sounds always seem to start when I'm trying to record voiceovers. Who knows? Hilariously, while I was trying to record this voiceover, my upstairs neighbor started to loudly use a karaoke machine, echoing through the windows and down into my apartment. Figures. If you have terrible neighbor stories, definitely share them so I can feel less alone. Alright, with that, it's time to go rob the Fatui and start Act 2. No, I'm not showing most of this quest, but at least I can do it without help. You pull up to the pharmacy and you see this. What do? Also, I saw this art that showed all of the Hexen Circle children from the next patch, and then showed Klee grown up with only Chi-Chi. It made me think that Yao Yao wants Chi-Chi to be friends with Klee so she has someone when Yao Yao isn't around anymore, and that ruined my week, so now I have to ruin yours with it. I'll link the art down below if I find it again. It's so precious. Okay, Act 2 is done. Now time to do what I do best, domain farming. The single best part of Hexerei only is the fact all of them use talent books from Mondstadt, except for Nicole, so I only have to worry about this one single domain. Can't say the same about their boss materials, though. I ended up deciding to finish Kaya's story quest as well, since I have sucrose to swirl the cryo slimes, and then I went and, begrudgingly, did Lisa's quest. The good news, though, is with Fischl, I was able to do it without any issues. I know green is very complementary to purple, but this might be too much. Anyways, Klee reads her mom's book, and we completed Lisa's quest, so I guess there's that. I also figured that it wouldn't hurt to start Dragonspine exploration. It gives XP, and I'll have to do the exploration eventually for Razor. Actually, on that topic, is that the best weapon for Razor? I want to build all the characters at least to some degree, plus I don't want to just wait around for every Hexerei rerun, so I need to focus on building the characters that I have now. Did anyone else see this enemy for the first time and think it was going to be really tough, only for it to end up having like 5 HP? Why did they do that? What even is it? It feels kind of crazy doing this mission with OG characters and succeeding the first time, because man, I remember desperately needing help for it when I did it, and then needing to help other friends who I forced into playing Genshin. It's like a rite of passage, a canon event, if you will. After that iconic success, it's only right to head back to the Spiral Abyss for floor 2. Plus I need it for another book mission. So in my last video, I also mentioned how I've been doing a lot of recording lately to get more frequent with uploads. I admittedly didn't mean as frequently as with this video right after Arlecchino. This is just because Arlecchino took longer than I expected, and it also took an entire day to upload to YouTube, which was a tragedy in and of itself. For the record, I am never uploading 4K 60 frames per second ever again. I tried, it wasn't worth it. My more likely plan is to do bi-weekly or weekly videos and rotate a lot more part 2s of old challenges along with Archons only and Hexerei only. I've got a bunch of videos recorded and I'm working on other ones, so hopefully that long gap I had will be the last for a while. Plus, I'm definitely getting more comfortable with Final Cut Pro, so I can edit much faster overall, and I also only have one singular trip planned for this summer. Violet and I will be visiting Media while she's doing a summer research program in Boston. But other than that, I will definitely stay home so I can minimize getting sick or anything else that would keep me from uploading. Well, I'll try my best anyways. Oh, no, I didn't want those drops, that's fine. With that domain, we hit AR28, so back to Liyue we go. It's so refreshing being able to do the Archon quest mechanics. Also, I did eventually get enough books to level 3 out of 4 to level 50, so only a little bit left until we can get to 70. One of the other things I'm reminding myself I need to work on as I go is talents. Unfortunately, all 4 of them have the worst materials to farm. So I took the L and sacrificed some primos to build Pity and get Stardust. It's technically still working in my favor since I would have to use those wishes anyways, so that's fine. right? I'm also going to try to keep up with artifacts, even though I can't really get anything good at this moment. I figure if I start getting an idea of stats and substats now, it'll make actual artifact farming a little easier. In theory, anyways. Am I the only one who genuinely enjoys going and beating up the child boss every week? Like, even on my main account, I have enough of his drops to never need to fight him again, but I just love speedrunning it, especially considering it usually occurs after I spend way too long beating the chest boss with no cryo. Lone will be a welcome addition. On that topic, it's so tragic that Nicole and Durin use completely random weekly boss drops. Right now, Razor uses Storm Terror, for some reason. Klee, Fischl, Sucrose, Mona, and Venti all use Lupus Boreas. Albedo uses Child. Varka and Lowen use the chest boss. And then Nicole and Prune randomly use the new Dottore boss, and Durin uses the Natlan boss. Like, okay, sure. So we almost had it that everyone uses early bosses, but oh well. Also, I really like that with older 5 stars and some of the newer ones, when you use their burst during this fight, you get a cool extra effect. It's the little things, truly. Okay, with Liyue done, we're getting closer to reaching the point where we can unlock Witch's homework. Since the world level auto ascends at AR 30, I figure the primary focus should be getting all of the materials. I swear, half of this video has just been me farming the bosses. Though, the good news is now that we're higher leveled, Klee is able to one-phase Aleph. Also, that thing I said before about not wasting condensed resin, yeah, that was a lie too. In my own defense, I wanted to get this video done before Nicole releases, and as I'm writing this, it's basically 2 days before she releases, so I definitely went down to the last second. But if I waited to farm bosses based on my daily resin cap, it definitely wouldn't have come close to being done in time. The absolute worst part of this time period when I was filming was the fact I was logging onto my main account to run around and farm Hilichurl drops for Lowen, just to log onto this account and farm Hilichurl drops for everyone else. At least on my main account, I finally hit AR 58 recently, so I was able to increase the world level and spare myself a little bit of sanity, but I still felt like that one Sandrone meme. Once everyone was farmed enough, I finally decided to start the Dainsleif quest. Dainsleif is 2 Klees tall. I also unfortunately made the fatal error of accidentally talking to Timaeus earlier, so I will be dragged into the TCG quest at one point, but I can deal with it when I get there. Once we beat the Abyss Herald during We Will Be Reunited, we finally hit AR 30. We also get elemental set feathers, so Klee has 2-piece Crimson Witch, Fischl has 2-piece Thundering Fury, Sucrose gets a 2-piece Viridescent. Oh, what does Razor get? Nothing. Sorry, Razor. With We Will Be Reunited finished, I did immediately go start the Inazuma prologue, but then completely abandoned it to farm for talent materials. In my experience from solo runs, while newer characters can breeze through early game without much thought on their talents, the same cannot be said for OG characters, especially 4 stars. Do I hate running around fighting Hilichurls, Whopper Flowers, and Fatui mages? Yes, but I hate struggling through boss fights even more. Plus, I'll have to level up their talents eventually if I want to stand a chance in the Spiral Abyss, so I may as well get a move on. Eventually, I realized it's probably more beneficial to fight the ley line since I can get drops and level up books. After all, getting to AR 35 is one thing, but I still need to get everyone leveled to 72. I don't know what I expected from this, but at least I got Star Glitter. After an obscene amount of boss runs, again, we're finally ready for the AR 35 ascension. So let's head to Inazuma. Also, if it feels like I'm speeding through this now, it's mostly because I don't think anyone wants to watch me beat the same 3 bosses a million times, and there's not nearly enough exciting things happening in my life to yap about and fill the void. Okay, so I need cheese for Ayaka's story quest, but I still don't want to talk to Timaeus yet, so I gotta run around the back of Good Hunter. I wonder, can we go inside? Oh my god, we can. Klee is getting all kinds of new jobs around Mondstadt. Anyways, starting Act 2, it's time to go fight the Raiden Shogun. It's been the hot minute since I fought this boss with a team. Oh god, wait, the entire team needs to die before it triggers the cutscene. Okay, noted for the future, I'll go into this fight with 1 character on my Nuzlocke account, which I need to log back into that account eventually. Folks, we did it. Thank you for giving us one good thing, Tepe. Okay, now let's ascend everyone and see if we have enough books to get any of them to 70. We should, but I guess we'll see how many we can get to 70. Of course, we have to start with Klee. It's only right. So there's Klee's ascension and leveling her to 70. Next is Sucrose. Actually, I'll just ascend everyone first, and then I'll start leveling. I had to use a few wishes for Stardust because I didn't want to go farm Hilichurl arrows again, but now Fischl is good to go too. Last but certainly not least, it's Razors. Hold on. Okay, now all 4 are ascended. I have enough books to get 1 more to 70, so I'm going with Sucrose. It doesn't really make a huge difference because I'll just farm more books, but I'm probably only going to show the witch's homework for Klee and Sucrose in this video, so I can get it up in time. First, we have to talk to Timaeus. Great. I still hate that. But now we can do focused experience mode and start Sucrose's homework. I know there's a bunch of mixed opinions on Sucrose's new voice actor. I don't really mind it, I'm gonna be so for real. But I also feel like I didn't really play her a ton either, so I never got super used to her old voice. I don't know how badly you all want me to give a summary of the witch's homework quests like I do for Archon quests with Arlecchino, but I'm gonna do it anyways for these two. If you all hate it or don't care either way, just let me know and I can just, I don't know, not do it for future videos. Well, I'll still do it for Lowen either way. We find Sucrose mulling over an experiment, and as it turns out, it involves the Hexencircle task. We offer our assistance, and she shares that she's attempting to make a potion that can make sweet flowers grow 16 times their normal size, but she's been unsuccessful thus far. On this 7th attempt, she's confirmed that the formula is theoretically correct, but is likely missing a key element.
Well, that's why we're helping out. Wait a second! Paimon is not an ingredient!
We could try. It's just, I would need to adjust the ratios in the original formula, and that might make the potion even more unstable.
No! We are not trying that!
The emergency food jokes will never not be funny. Sucrose shares she's missing 2 ingredients. Spring water from, Springvale. Wait, is that why it's called Springvale? Why did I never put it together? Sorry, not important. She also shares that she needs Eye of the Storm fragments.
But that last one could be tricky.
Yeah, because they at best drop some Mora and maybe a weapon. We head to Windrise first for the Eye of the Storm. Wow, I love that they give us a trial Sucrose to fight an Eye of the Storm. That's so helpful.
Wow, you two work fast. That step usually takes me forever.
Yeah, I wonder why. With the Eye of the Storm fragment obtained, no thanks to Trial Sucrose, we get the water from Springvale and return to the city. Oh, this is my favorite mini-game. I loved the potion event so much. Is there a way to get higher than 120%? Regardless, Sucrose declares that we did a perfect job, which is all that really matters, and invites us to Dragonspine to test the potion. Hold on, why is this area so familiar? Wait, isn't this where we fought the Whopper Flower Subject 2 created during the second Albedo event? I don't like where this is going. Well, anyways, after we pour the growth serum on the sweet flower, we chat for a bit while waiting for it to absorb. Sucrose shares that in the past experiments, the flowers grow to between 12 to 14 times their original size while maintaining the original appearance, but at that point it's more than the flower can handle and it withers and rots into liquid. I can't even imagine how atrocious that must smell. Sucrose explains she's tried pretty much everything to help the flower handle the growth, but nothing has worked. However, this isn't actually a bad thing. She explains one of alchemy's guiding principles: as above, so below. Basically, the world still has limits, and an experiment like this proves the limit still exists, and overall proves the limits and borders of the world are still stable. Now I'm definitely seeing why this is related to Hexencircle. Suddenly, Paimon notices the sweet flower reacting, and oh god, not this thing again. Can anyone who's done this quest on an account that also did the Albedo winter quest let me know if they say anything about Subject 2, or if it just pretends that never happened? I am kind of curious if it changes. Regardless, Trial Sucrose comes in much more handy in this fight, and we make easy work of the Whopper Flower. However, Sucrose is concerned because the Whopper Flower grew to be over 16 times its original size, meaning the experiment theoretically worked, which it wasn't supposed to. Sucrose says that either way her task is completed, but it also opened up a massive can of worms in terms of what caused the experiment to work this time. We offer to help in the future if needed, and Sucrose's homework is complete. Up next, it's time to go find Klee. We find her outside of the Knight's headquarters, and she declares that Dodoko needs help.
Oh, for Pete's sake! Is that the task? What?
No, for Klee's sake!
I love Klee so much. After explaining what a task is to Klee and getting nowhere, Klee explains that Dodoko needs to find a specific clover to become a super special Dodoko that can take on the Dodo King's trial to become a super awesome Dodo sorcerer. At least according to Alice, so I guess this is probably the task in question. Klee still has no idea what the task actually is, but when we look in the book from Alice, Klee finds a note written in storybook fashion, which, I mean, yeah, is fitting for a child. We follow Klee to where she goes to play a lot, and we see a bunch of hilly trails. Our Klee is converted to Trial Klee, and unlike Sucrose's first fight, she could definitely handle this alone. But we have Rain and Fischl, so we might as well make the most of it. With the turtles cleared out, Klee excitedly declares she's being sent to confinement less and less lately, and was extra careful to avoid lighting the forest on fire. At least Smokey doesn't have to worry about her as much now. They're Jean, I guess. Klee also shares she found a note related to the trial, which now sends us to Starfell Lake. When we arrive, we find a chest, but before we can open it, a bunch of slimes and a cryo abyss mage arrive. At least these are all enemies that we can easily beat with only Klee. With the enemies defeated, Klee declares we passed the trial, and upon opening the chest, finds a witch hat for Dodoko. That's so cute. While Klee is explaining to us the importance behind Dodoko becoming a Dodo sorcerer, Jean arrives, having been sent to investigate explosions heard in the forest. At Klee's request, we explain the trial and that Klee was definitely supervised by us and didn't light anything that she shouldn't have on fire. As for the blasted fish over there, those were totally not on purpose. We can't help with past situations, though. However, Jean rewards Klee with a meal at Good Hunter, so all's well that ends well. With that, Klee's homework is also done, and we officially have the Hexerei buffs unlocked for the team. I'm going to wrap this video up here, so that we can do Fischl and Razor's homeworks in the next video, along with pulling for Nicole, Durin, and Prune. As always, thank you so much to my channel members for their continued support, as well as my Twitch subscribers. If you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe, and hit the little bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time!